Hello and welcome to Lights,
Camera,
and Conversation. I'm your host, Waleed Shaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
And we are so excited for episode 2. Kavita.
Oh my God, I was going to say episode 3, but yes, it's 2.
We had the pilot, and you got to know us during the pilot, episode 0.
Yes.
And last episode, we talked about acceptance and rejection.
Yep.
And today, we're going to talk about a very exciting topic. Those of you tuning in on YouTube, you see we have a new setup today. That's right, you can catch us on YouTube. And we're so excited to also be matching. You read my mind, Kavita.
I did. Okay, so what is it that we both have today?
It's the pearls. I love the pearls. I love a little pearl story. You look fabulous.
Okay, and you know what? This is just great minds, right?
Because great minds think alike. We're on the same wavelength.
We did not talk about this.
We did not talk about our outfits today.
And you actually just came in wearing that, and I was just like, what?
So those of you listening, also check us out on YouTube, and please make sure you like, subscribe, leave us a rating.
Yes, please.
All the support counts, and we really appreciate it.
Yes.
So let's dive right into today's special topic. You're going to give us your music dance edge. I'm going to talk more film, TV, and we have a special new pop culture moment today. So let's dive right in.
Today we were wanting to talk about social media, the importance of social media in the film, TV, music world, and how it's really changed the landscape of the music business in the last decade and a half, especially in the last 5 years. I mean, it's just been a whole new different way of looking at the business, a whole new way of how business is conducted and how artists get their music out, how it's received, and just how their journey evolves.
Right, it's become such an integral part of their journey,
Absolutely.
Especially music artists.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Is it something that music artists enjoy now? Is it a tribulation?
Yeah, social media is a necessary evil. I mean, there is nothing you can do without being on it, without creating content on it. Mm-hmm. Your music has to be shared through DSPs. But if you're not on social media, promoting it, sharing it, creating content before to make reels and to just have this kind of connection with your fans. It is so important now to have this engagement before a song even releases. So you have to plan months in advance, and it's one of those things that is great for the music. It is also challenging. If you are an up-and-coming artist, there is the good, bad, and ugly with social media. The great part about it is that you have this opportunity. Everybody has this even playing field. I said that even in the pilot episode, that it is now great that anyone can put out content, share it, engage with the fans, and really have this relationship with the listeners. You are now able to create music in your bedroom. You can literally collaborate with people that you want to work with and put out music on your own as an independent artist through distributors. And social media is there at your beck and call to create content, to create videos, to have fan engagement, all of that, right? That's the obviously great part of it. The challenging piece of it is that when you are an artist, again, coming back to that, sometimes sensitive artists have to be very mindful of not taking every comment deeply personally. It
trolls.
Is extremely.
It sounds like we're going to talk about trolls.
It is so
and
important.
Feedback.
Exactly. It is so important to be you know what? The feedback is very important to take, very important to kind of work on it and make the edits needed. But it's very necessary to always be keeping everything in perspective.
Right.
If you take the comments that as an up-and-coming artist you're going to get to heart too deeply, you have to be watchful that it doesn't disrupt or
discourage you.
Discourage you. That's
Absolutely.
the right word. That's the word I was looking
for. Disrupt your
for.
flow, discourage you, set you a foot back. That's not the intention. It's supposed to be a platform forward. So it's important to put stuff out there and just let it go. And I think in relation to acting, it's kind of like when you audition for something.
Yes.
You give it your all, you give it your heart, you prepare, you go in, And as soon as you walk out that audition door, you let it go.
Yes.
Because it's no longer in your hands.
Yes.
So I think with social media for musicians, there's a similar vibe there.
That developing the thick skin is at the base, at the root of being an artist, right?
Of course.
Like on it all day, all
and
the
you
time.
guys can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Instagram, on YouTube, at Lights, Camera, Conversation. Yes.
Oh my gosh. The nugget was that you as an artist have to just create. It is important to remember that your only role is to create, and you cannot be attached to the reception of what you created.
So
Can you
let me ask you
imagine
a
that? Like you
question.
think you create for the reception, you're
Right.
waiting to see, oh my God, you finish posting something and you're like, how many likes did I get? How many comments did I get? What's going on, right? And that is the piece of it that is difficult to not do.
Right.
But her whole thing was that if you did it awaiting a response and awaiting that is going to, it could be bad, and that shouldn't, kill your spirit to create and your motivation
What
to
about
create.
people who feel limited to create, or their spirits down because they feel like maybe they don't have the creativity to capture their music in the social media medium and platform? Maybe they feel like they don't know how to work the technology, or they don't have a budget to keep making reels with different backgrounds. I mean, how do we work within our limits? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, I think that there is so much actually being offered today in the form of, opportunities to capture your content in varying budgets. You don't necessarily have to be spending the top dollar on a big location, a huge set, massive equipment. You really can do it on your iPhone at home in a simple background and scale it up or down to your lifestyle and your artistry and, what you need to do. And I think when it's authentic and it's heartfelt, people feel it. People do
Right.
engage. People do want to support. Everyone wants to support
course.
people in it.
And
That's
you
the
get
good
better.
side of it.
You get better
Yeah.
doing it time after time,
Yeah.
creating more content. I've heard from my sister Rowan, who
Yes.
you guys will hear more about over upcoming episodes as well, singer-songwriter.
Yes.
Many
Love her
meetings she's
voice.
had with mentors, they've told her, same as what you've said, Kavita, we need you to have a social media presence. And let's talk about what that
The
means,
numbers,
though.
the numbers
It's not
are
just the
such a big
numbers. They
deal.
also wanted to know about her personality.
Yes.
They said, we want to be able to get to know you. If you're funny, if you're more into fashion, if you're more into cooking, if you're more into lifestyle and fitness, what else do you do? Who are you as the artist?
Right. And that is so important to try and remember to be as authentic as you can when you are creating your art. And then that comes a little bit tied into what I just said before that, which is try to do it because you love to do it and try to disengage from the reception. And if it's I'm not talking about engagement with fans, which you should do, but try to disconnect
With
a
the
little bit
negativity.
from the negativity.
Absolutely.
And at least let that not crush one's spirit, right?
It's like reading reviews if you're a filmmaker and have a film
Same
out.
thing.
And, there's a couple different publications that didn't like it,
Yeah.
but there's several others that perhaps did.
Right.
It's tough to read reviews.
And on social media, the funny thing is you do need the haters. The haters are adding to your
Numbers
fan
and
engagement, the
performance.
numbers, the performance.
The
Because
conversation.
people that like your work will run to your defense on social media when the haters say all of these insane
Right.
things. So, like I said, my daughter was told, she was singing her own song and they were just like, oh my God, you're lip syncing somebody else's song.
Right,
and she was just
right.
like, it's my song.
That's what I was mentioning. Absolutely. Funniest story in Wild. It's very interesting because we've called this segment the social media game and playing the social media game. It's become a necessity, right? Can you imagine doing the music business without using social media?
I just don't even know, or I cannot even imagine how you would get the
People's
amount of people
attention,
the
right.
reach that you can actually have.
Right.
So it's not even a question in my mind that one has to have it. The conversation really is deeper about, okay, now that you know you have to do it, it's how much of it do you really kind of take as fuel to propel this onward journey in social media and to keep producing more content and to keep sharing it without getting discouraged, without getting intimidated, and to keep moving forward and stay positive.
Right. So let's talk maybe some examples that you might be able to share about how social media has played an important factor in, maybe a song Ria's had or an opportunity Laura's gotten.
Yeah, so in TikTok, for example, it's kind of become all about, okay, how much content can you create around your song that is, people are able to kind of recreate what you've set as the main reel
Template,
for the song,
right.
as the template for the song, right? That is a very big thing. So if that takes off, then there is literally no stopping.
And I think people sometimes get caught up in the metrics and feel like I'm as good as my number of followers. I'm as good as, my reception. This song isn't good. No one liked it online. Well, in reality, it might not have been presented at the right time to the right audience.
Right.
So it's like what you said, taking it all with a grain of salt.
Absolutely. And you should just keep, staying positive, putting out your content, and engaging with. If you have 2 comments, you should engage with those 2 comments,
right,
and
absolutely.
You should just keep.
That's 2 fans right there. 2 more
pushing
than
the needle
right.
forward. And some of the social media platforms are now operating as distributors. They want to distribute your music. They want to be able to be platforms in few regions. They're testing it out in certain markets if they can be an actual platform for the music, so competing with iTunes and Spotify. So the power of these social media platforms now in the music world is huge. The people, it's very debated whether the quality of the music has gone down a bit because of the expectation that you're now creating TikTok music, you're now creating Instagrammable music. Am I creating
a lot of hooks
music
with
for
repetitive sounds and trending sounds?
Trending, yeah.
Right.
So are you creating music for that? Or are you creating music because you love, you know what? I mean, no hate on success. So I'm one of those people that's always if you had success, it's great. And if
it's
you're doing what
just
you love,
another way to figure out how to get some more attention. Now, I do want to talk about how this is similar in the acting and film, TV world.
Yeah, tell me about how that is relating in film and TV.
Right, because the question is, playing the social media game, is that important for actors to play or for filmmakers to play, right? And I think more than no, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It is important. But before I go too far and too deep into it, I do want to say this, because I've heard this countless times. Casting is looking for the best performer. It doesn't matter what your social media is like. You have to be a great actor. Social media cannot replace your acting skills, your emotional range, your character work, right? It can only do so much for you, but it can open up a door to get you seen, to get you discovered. If you're not online, how can you be discovered?
That's true.
One of the craziest things is when actors reach out to work with me, whether it's for coaching, consultation, or if I'm working on a film or a play and I'm casting. People reach out to me and they're actors and they don't have their demo reel online or even a video online of their acting work. When I search them on Google and I don't find anything come up. It's about being discoverable. So for the acting world, it's not as important in terms of releasing, because we don't have songs to release. I guess we could put videos of our demo reel. We can put videos of our self-tape. We can do a monologue. We could do a song. That could be something an actor does. But I think it's more about accessibility when it comes for actors.
Yeah.
That's where social media is important. Are you accessible? Can we find you quickly? Because here's what it comes down to sometimes. And most of the time, it's between you and another person or a group of people. And these producers need a deal breaker. They need to figure out how to decide.
What is the decision making?
And so they'll
between
search.
the two?
They will search you. And, listen, it can work in your favor and it can also work not in your favor.
Sure.
If they find something on social media about you, we said good, bad, and the ugly. That's the ugly. If they find something and are like, oh, we can't deal with this person on set.
Right. And that's, literally that one small thing can make a difference. I saw while talent is at the crux of it and that doesn't change, I saw this actor on Instagram that has been creating hilariously funny monologues And people are like literally commenting saying, someone please cast him in Bridgerton season 2 or season 3. Sorry.
That's amazing.
So imagine all the comments are like, someone cast him in Bridgerton season 2, meaning.
And it just takes a matter of time for you to share this with me, for me to share this with my circle, for us to look a person like that up and say, oh, do we have an agent or a manager friend that might want to, jump on this momentum? Is this person super talented? Listen, guys, everyone is looking to discover the next Leonardo DiCaprio, right? Or the next whoever. But I think ultimately you being discoverable is key. And I do want to talk about numbers, because you mentioned numbers in the music game. It does make you more attractive, I think, in indie film, if you're an actor or filmmaker, because they want to have the reach with their cast, if possible, to get more marketing value, into the project. But I think ultimately your numbers can help. But if you're a good actor and you're right for the role, and you're a good actor again, then it doesn't matter what your numbers are. Don't be discouraged by it. So I think it's only something that can help. I do want to quickly address the hot and cold part of it, because some people, when I say social media, they freak out. They can barely handle their email. Social media, oh, what do I post? Post your headshots, post photos of your scripts, post you at rehearsal, post with permission if you're allowed to, or after something airs. Something from behind the scenes. You have to wait if you sign an NDA, especially. You don't want to get in trouble. But these are all ideas of what you can post, because when I want to discover you as an actor, I want to see, oh, here they are in acting class. Here they are watching a show on a weekend with a friend, and getting to know more culture and arts. Here they are on set working. Here's a headshot. Oh, this is a new look from them. That's what we want to see. So don't be discouraged. Now, if it's something at the end of the night and you're cold with it, that's really not bringing you joy, that's overwhelming, instead of not doing it and giving up, find a mentor to help. Find someone who can help you get it done. Find someone who loves to do social media. Maybe you take them to dinner if they help you post once a week or every other week. Find a way to just do the basics so you at least are discoverable and are online.
Quick question. Is it the same as, how a musician does covers and puts it on social media? Can you put a monologue of a released movie? Is that like something? Are there rules behind that? I understand like unreleased film, obviously.
That's a great question.
It's like an unreleased song, and that's where you have all this NDA. But what about a released film?
Absolutely. So if you're just getting started and you don't have a demo reel with footage, from scenes where you are starring in or have like speaking lines in, then you can film a monologue. You can film a scene from a film or TV show that's already out, and you can just use it to get started so people have an idea of your work. Now, I will say this though, you don't want to film something that's super popular.
Gotcha.
You don't want to do My Cousin Vinny. You don't want to do The Godfather. If you're a singer, you don't want to sing Les Mis if you're going in for Broadway. Sometimes it's hard for casting or producers. Casting, not so much. They're creative, but some producers are not creative, folks. They work with money. They work with, the business side of it. And when they're looking at talent, they might not be able to see your vision of it because they're locked in to that, the way Leonardo DiCaprio did it or the way Meryl Streep did it. And so it's important, if you're going to pick content to show your work getting started, especially, that it's something that's not going to be too recognizable, and that it's right for your personality, for your age, and so on.
Got it. Okay, so stay away from overly, popular, big
Correct.
roles.
While in music, I feel like the vibe is to go to popular, trending sounds, things, sound bites, clips, etc.
Right. And also depends on what kind of music, what genre of music you're doing. So yes, if you are like trying to be a pop artist, then you do need to show some of the larger covers. But you're right, similar.
So social media at the end of the night is a game we must play, whether you're an actor, filmmaker, whether you're a singer, dancer, to show off those moves. We have an opportunity to connect into each of those communities with our art.
Absolutely. And like the amount of creativity you're seeing online is just like blows my mind. It's like incredible. Like,
I do want you to share something with the crossover that I think will be interesting for our viewers, those of you that are catching us on YouTube, and our listeners on Spotify, Apple, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Let's talk a little bit about the crossover with music. Like when Ria's song Outside came out, Give us a little bit of background on how you had makeup artists do makeup
Yes.
tutorial to her music, how you had dancers do a dance to it. You really thought of different ways to engage these different communities that I mentioned.
Yeah, and the idea literally came from just seeing TikTok and seeing what was out there, people were doing. We saw great songs that were popping off on TikTok, and the amount of different videos they had. So it wasn't just like, okay, singing, dancing. We had people that were like, in like fire breathing. There were like people that were in like their, archery class, like using the music in the background. People that were, of course, a lot of dancing, a lot of cooking, a lot of like singing covers of it, and all of that. But makeup was huge. Makeup was huge. But it was so wonderful to see all the creativity around it, and it was like a woman empowerment anthemic song. So it really lent itself wonderfully to girls feeling like just empowered when they heard the song, just feeling like included.
Yeah, and that's the song Outside by Ria Raj. It's on all platforms as well. Give it a listen and some love as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a great song. But yes.
There's nothing more attractive for a performer than a performer that's performing.
Yes.
Period.
Exactly. And the comment section for someone who's like creating a new project like this, when they come out with it, I've seen the comments are giving them further ideas. People are so happy to be like, oh my God, how about now this character did this? Now next week, can you show this character doing this? It almost becomes a series that the fans are writing for you in the comment section. And I've seen creators go like, okay, because you all asked me, here's a response to so-and-so's question, and then they have this follow-up video on it. It's just incredible.
That. And it's a great way to stay performing. So when you do have an opportunity and a director asks you, what are you working on? You can say, oh, I'm doing this.
Exactly.
And wow, there's nothing more attractive than an actor that's acting, than a singer that's singing, than a dancer that's dancing, and so on and so forth.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I love it. So now, I dropped some what we call Easter eggs in terms of what the pop culture segment today is going to be about. Because I've mentioned Leonardo DiCaprio, and I've mentioned the Titanic.
Oh my gosh.
And so let's take it away.
I was there
about
today.
Our pop culture segment. You went to the Titanic exhibit, right?
At the Titanic exhibit
in Los Angeles.
In Los Angeles.
Tell us about it.
It was beautiful. It was really very fun. I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna go. Like I loved the Titanic. Loved the movie.
Now,
it was a huge
this exhibit's been out for a while, even after, or was it a coincidence? The Titan submarine, unfortunately, had that very devastating losses with that submarine. I wonder, if it's all in the timing is all I'm saying. It's all in the timing. You saw this Titanic exhibit that's been out, and also Kavita, things happen in threes. Netflix recent, to the submarine imploding. Netflix released Titanic on Netflix again, so you can stream it on Netflix. I believe it's still on there available. And people have mixed feelings if it's too soon, if it's okay. I mean, what do you think?
It is absolutely surprising that these things all happen at the same time. It's like just so odd that, okay, Netflix streaming it is like, okay, fine, it's been a few years, the movie, deserves to be celebrated, to it, and then this exhibit is maybe timed with that. Those two may make sense. But for that thing to happen with the submersible was so tragic. They did have a little homage for the, tribute for the people that passed in this tragic incident.
Absolutely.
And they honored them at the entrance of the exhibit, and it was heartwarming to see that. It was like really kind of like a moment of reflection, being like, oh my God, in addition to the many people that 1,500 people that lost their lives in the actual Titanic incident.
Right. Wow.
This, all these other things around it is so heart-wrenching.
It's tragedy, and it's so interesting how us as people flock to tragedy.
Yes. Oh my God, people do. It's like this was 120 years ago that this incident happened. But, of course, the movie was so fabulous and so drawing that we were just like all like, it's such a massive tragedy, and something about like the deep dark waters and like all of that stuff that just
the ocean is a character, the ship is a character,
and the lifestyle before that, the dichotomy between the life they were leading like half an hour before that, in the ballroom, in the grand staircase, and in those like beautiful like moments that we imagine and we see, and the exhibit is actually a recreation of how it was from all the documentation of the ships. So the exhibit's been actually finding all of these people and put it there for us to see.
So question for you. Would it be on brand for musicians to create music or hooks using My Heart Will Go On right now? Would that be trending?
Oh, so smart. Absolutely.
It's a great idea. Whoever's listening, do it.
Weirdly, oddly trending to do it now because, as you said, the exhibit's going on, the movies, streaming, and around all the recent, news press, incidents. Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a wild
it's so
time.
Crazy. Speaking of which, I did get a picture on the boat, on the front of the boat with the whole Kate in
yes, and we will post that picture on our Instagram.
I will.
So if you want to see it,
I will just be hiding away somewhere. If you find it and you post it.
If you find it, go search for it, guys, and follow us and
cheesy.
find it.
I look so
fun.
Cheesy.
I mean, the movie lives in all of our hearts.
Great. No,
right?
I look cheesy.
The last 30 minutes of it, it's so hard to watch.
Yeah,
I think for anyone, but it's something engraved in my memory. I remember seeing it. I think I was 11 years old, and my mom didn't realize it was 3 hours long when we were in the theater, and by the time we left it was nighttime and late, and it was an experience.
Yeah. You're right. And some of the conversations I was seeing on TikTok was talking about delve deep into the kind of the odd kind of difference between the lives lost there on that night. There were these lifeboats that could have taken 60, 70 people, and then they filled some of those lifeboats with 15, 20 people.
Right.
Because they put people in first class and all of that first, and then they were let's not overcrowd these things to be safe, which was crazy because at least 500 people could have been saved had they filled the lifeboats. So that was a statistic that was so heart-wrenching to see. And secondly, in light of the conversation on social media around this tragic incident, there is just so much dialogue happening on social media with the next generation of people on it about the Titanic and about the irony of people wanting to go in these expensive submersibles, paying top dollar to go see a tragedy and risking their own lives in the process.
They sign a waiver, and who would have thought? And recent to the submarine going down, Virgin Galactic released that they'll soon be having space exploration.
Oh yeah.
Right, I believe the ticket price starts at $475,000, and you can go to space. And I just thought, if I get lost, who's gonna come look for me in space?
I will. I'll be
thank
there.
you, bestie.
I will.
That's a real bestie.
Yeah.
We'll both be lost in space. Podcast coming to you from outer space. What's up? But truly, the fact that they were able to search underwater and use different mechanisms and then found that it probably imploded. It did.
Yeah.
And, that was at least, relief to have that knowledge, even though it's devastating.
Yeah.
But imagine being lost in space. To me, I'm staying on the ground unless I'm traveling in a regular flight between my destinations.
Yeah.
It's been such a fun second episode with everyone. Kavita, I'm so excited. And because we're both dressed like twins today, I feel like we shared pearls of wisdom.
We did.
Yes,
oh my God.
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Okay,
Thank you all for tuning in. You can catch us again next week. The new episodes drop every Tuesday. And Kavita, where can they find us on social? Just remind our friends.
Yes, so we're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube.
Exactly.
Anywhere else?
And we're everywhere else on streaming platforms, but those are the main ones.
Spotify, iTunes.
And to find the rest, you can also simply go to lightscameraconversation.com and you'll find our site with all the platforms.
Yes, absolutely.
Super. So till next time, take those pearls of wisdom, take them out the front door, and do your thing. I'm Waleed Shaya.
I'm Kavita Raj.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow on Instagram and TikTok. We love interacting. Also, the content in this podcast episode is provided for general informational purposes only. By listening to our episode, which we love, you understand that no information contained in this episode should be construed as advice from Lights Camera Conversation or our individual authors, hosts, or guests. Nor is it intended to be a substitute for research on any subject matter. We always encourage you to do your research. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Lights Camera Conversation. The views expressed by speakers are their own, and their appearance on our program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a great day.